to you more clearly so you can enlarge on what is already been spoken. Number one is, the Lord will never leave me nor forsake me. Now we have that found, and I'll come back to that later. Number two is, my steps are ordered by the Lord. We're talking about in that 24-hour period. You don't think so much about the future as you do in this 24-hour period. Day number 3, you memorize, get in your spirit, I know all things work together for good for me. Or I know all things will work together for good. And number 4 is, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. For those of you that started on Wednesday night, Thursday, you probably started on Thursday. This would mean that today, your verse that you are majoring on today is, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Day number 5, I will never be tempted above what I can bear. But also I realize that I have to cooperate with the Spirit of God on this thing. Now, number 6, the day number 6 is, because I resist the devil, and he will flee from me. And number 7, which is the 7th day, the Lord has given his angels charge over me to keep me in all my way. You see. All right, now, through the day, any temptation, any trial, any test that I face, I recognize, and those of you which don't have all the Bible verses, we're going to talk about them a little bit now, and go to day number 1, and let's turn to Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 5, and let's read verses 5 and verse 6. Now let your conversation be without covetousness. All right, now the first thing that I've got to bear in mind, that the Lord will never leave me or forsake me, is he speaks about covetousness. Well, how do I know I'm coveting? I would like to have a home like somebody else got. Is that covetousness? Covetousness is when I have a strong desire to have what belongs to you, what is rightfully yours. All right? And be content with such things as ye have. Be content. Paul said, I've learned to be content. Contentment does not mean you have to be satisfied not to have anything. It means that I'm content in whatever circumstance I find myself. Contentment. Because he said, I will never leave thee or forsake thee. All right, now notice on this first day, our emphasis is placed on, the Lord will never leave me or forsake me. I know, once I get that in my spirit, I'll know the Lord will never leave me or forsake me. All right, now, so I know that the Lord's going to be near me, with me, continually. Now let's go to the next one, which would, now wait, for those of you which weren't here, you take that one verse of Scripture for that day only, just one verse of Scripture, and you ponder that. That will be your priority. All day long, you get that verse in your spirit that the Lord will never leave me or forsake me. Get it to the extent that it cannot leave you. You get it nailed down, so to speak, that the Lord will never leave me or forsake me. If you have to mow your lawn, this verse is priority. I can get the verse and I'll do the lawn both, but this is first. I must do it. If you come to the end of the day, of the first day, and you say, now let me see, what was my verse for today? You hadn't made a quality decision to get it. Quality decisions is important. I think y'all was talking about quality decisions. I was talking about quality decisions in Pennsylvania. trying to drill it into people. You got to make a quality decision. I think it was on a Sunday morning. Y'all was probably getting it here. I was giving it in Pennsylvania. You got to make a quality decision. And that's priority. This has got to be, this is my priority. I've got to do it. I've got to get this verse in me. If I can say, well, you know, the Lord will never leave me or forsake me in a nonchalant way, you're not going to get it. It's once you take that whole day and drill that verse in you, that the Lord will never leave you or forsake you, you're on your way to knowing now, no matter what happened. I don't know where the Lord was. Nope. Where do we go when we got a problem? To the battle verse. And what's our battle verse? Who knows? All right, casting down imagination, every high thing exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bring it into captivity, every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having in readiness to do what? Revenge what? Oh, so we have to be obedient. Oh, the Lord will never leave me or forsake me. Now let me ask you a question. Since the Lord is with me today and He'll never leave me or forsake me, do you think I would do the same thing I would if I wasn't conscious of His presence? In the presence of the Lord there is fullness of what? Then why am I so unhappy? If in the presence of the Lord is fullness of joy, then why am I unhappy? Have you ever asked that question? Maybe there's something wrong with the presence of the Lord. Is it? Would it be maybe you're not quite hanging around the presence of the Lord? All right, let's go to number 2. And this is, let's say we started on Thursday. So now we start out Friday morning. And since we're starting out Friday morning, I come to this verse. My steps are ordered by the Lord. Now, I don't forget the verse I had the day before, but my priority is on, am I saying that word right? Priority. My priority is that this is the verse I'm majoring on. So I will keep on doing that. And somebody said, well, suppose that yesterday I didn't get it. I would not worry too much about yesterday. What I would do is hit today. Because we got a 28-day period here that we're going to be working at. All right, so, and some of you don't understand that, you will later on. My steps are ordered by the Lord. All right, Psalms 37:23, it says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and what else? He delighteth in His way. All right, now, as today I'm pondering this, now I realize that my steps are ordered by the Lord, but is the Lord satisfied with where I'm going? I know He's ordering my steps, but did He order me to do this? Since my steps are ordered by the Lord, I need to be cautious now because my steps are being ordered by the Lord. But did He order me to say that, do that? See, right there is where you start getting, when the Lord gave me this formula, I saw exactly what's happening. Because once you get conscious that your steps are ordered by the Lord, hey, I don't believe I want to do that. Isn't that right? I don't think I want to do that. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm still remembering that everywhere I go, I'm in the presence of the Lord. He'll never leave me. He'll never forsake me. He's there. And not only that, but He's leading my steps. Now, this has given me some ammunition to come against the battles of life and win. Isn't that right? So now, since that is now all day long, I've got that thing in my spirit, and all day long I'm just driving that thing into me. I can't do it nonchalant like. If I ask my wife at lunchtime, let me see, what was our verse for today? Then I'll have to recognize I'm nonchalant. I'll never get it. You can't do that. You've got to get this thing, make a quality decision that you're going to get it. All right, now, suppose today, at the end of the day, this thing is not really registered that good. Should I start over again? You can, but you'll probably have the same problem you did before. So what my suggestion is that you would go on to the third step, and the third day, and say, well, now I got to do better than tomorrow. I mean, I'm not getting this thing registered the way I ought to. Because what happens, you're going to find that until you get used to this thing, your mind will be wondering, and you'll be thinking about, let me see, the Lord said He'll never leave me or forsake me, something about that. I mean, He said something. No, you're not going to get nothing that way. But you see, if you start saying, well, my mind is just too warped, I can't get it. Wait a little. Head back to the Bible verse. The Bible verse, isn't the Bible verse here? We got to go right back to the Bible verse now. And I've got to bring down that thought. I can't keep that thought. For though we war after the flesh, though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. See, the weapons of our warfare, we're hitting a spiritual thing. This is not carnal, that means natural. Now I am going to get this thing drilled into my spirit. Let's suppose now that we're here today and something happens that we didn't expect to happen in this 24-hour period. Already I'm aware that the Lord will never leave me or forsake me. Now I also recognize that my steps, if I'm a good man, are ordered by the Lord. Suppose I'm not a good man. Suppose I start this kind of thing. Well, I'm not sure, I'm not covetous, so this won't work for me. And I'm not sure that I'm content with such things as I have. I'm not sure this is going to work for me. And I'm not sure the Lord's leading my steps because after all, I may not be a good man. I've got so many failures. I tell you folks, the best thing to do is cut that mind off and say, all right, Lord, since you're leading my steps, since now I'm holding on today, since you're leading my steps, but remember tomorrow, or yesterday, I know you will never leave me or forsake me, and I'm asking you to make sure that my steps are being ordered by you day by day. Correct me where I need to be. See, that's where you'll find this thing, folks, is not a thing to do. It's an eternal value to this. Now, number 3, day 3. I know all things will work together for my good. How do I know? Because, and we know, according to Romans 8:28, that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to His purpose. You mean to tell me that the Lord will never leave me or forsake me? And now, you mean my steps ordered by the Lord. And now, you mean that everything that happens to me in this 24-hour period, that I know it's going to work out for my good? The answer is yes, and the answer is no. The answer is yes if I let it. The answer is no if I don't let it. Let everything work out. Relax. Now I am emphasizing priority today. Before I eat my breakfast, more important than eating my breakfast is, what is my verse for today? That's more important. Because all day long I've got to get this thing in me. So now, I know I'm repeating a lot of things I said on Wednesday night, and yet there's people that's been asking me questions. I'm trying to answer your questions. Now, all things are going to work together for good. Do I feel like it? Does not matter if I feel like it or not. And you say, well, I don't think this thing's working. My mind is just not getting it. Head right back to the Bible verse, right? Bible verse. Let it flash through your mind. Bible verse. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 10. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4 and 5. I believe even got 6 on there, don't I? Okay? And being in readiness to revenge any disobedience. Hey, this is important on this. Because, you see, now what's the verse, or what am I saying today? What's the one I'm talking about right now? All right. How do you know it?
The Bible says it.
But it don't feel like it. You don't go by feelings. So I know that all things go work out together for good. But I thought that the Lord was going to give me that job, and I went down there to see about it, and they said somebody else got it. All things still work together for good to those that love God, which are the called, according to His purpose. What do you do now when that thing irritates you and everything? Where do you go? Back to the Bible verse. What's the Bible verse? Casting down imagination and every high thing exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. I must obey God. Obedience means I will obey God. All right. Now let's go to day 4. That would happen to be today for those of you which are following this. No weapon that is formed against me shall prosper. Are you saying, Brother Rhodes, that there'll be no weapons? Do you mean I will never again have a problem? No. It says, no weapon that is formed against thee shall do what? Prosper. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in... What do? Who does the condemning? God doesn't do the condemning? All right. Did you know to stay free in that 24-hour period? I know that no weapon, Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against me from midnight to midnight shall prosper. It may be a weapon formed against me. It may be somebody talking against me. But my responsibility is let God take care of the weapon, and I take care of the tongue. I bring the tongue down. Now, at the end of the day, I know that all things that happen to me today is going to work out for my good. How many times have you said, well, we learned a lesson through that? Now, don't go around trying to get lessons, you understand? But some of you say, well, I had a lesson. I learned a lesson through that, you know. Take up your failures and turn them into victories. Take up your stumbling blocks and build a building out of them. And now, tomorrow, if those of you started on Thursday, I will never be tempted above that which I'm able to bear. I'll tell you what, folks, that's a good thing to think about. And here we have that Bible verse in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. There has no temptation taken you, but such is common to man. All right, it's common to be tempted. And I'm not going to be tempted different than anybody else. But the Lord is faithful when I'm under that temptation, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you're able, but will with the temptation also make a way of escape that I may be able to bear it. Hey, listen, today, am I going to be tempted? Sure, I'm going to be tempted. Do I major on the temptation? No, I major it on no temptation today will overtake me. Because what's the thing now? Don't forget. I will never be tempted above that which you're able. I will not be tempted today, but what I've got, the victory, the power to stand on it. Do you mean to tell me I won't get any temptation? Sure, you'll get tempted. But have you thought about that every time that you're faced with a temptation, you know very well God's right there. Now let's go back over these things and watch how it works. Number one is that I'm tempted, but I'm in the presence of the Lord. He'll not forsake me. He's right here on guard, watching over me right now. Number two, my steps are being ordered by the Lord. And now I'm facing temptation. My steps are ordered by the Lord. I don't have to worry about that. And also I remember in my meditation that all things are going to work together for good. So it wouldn't be good for me to sin, would it? But it's going to work out. This temptation's going to work out. I can't yield to it, but it's going to work out. The Lord's going to help me through this thing. And I don't stand there and ponder the problem. I ponder the victory. I've got the victory now. But I'm tempted more than anybody else. Way little, the Bible says you'll never be tempted above that which you're able to bear. And Christ was tempted in all points like as you are, yet without sin. So you have no excuse for your sin. But I just need to do it. No, you don't. See, you are giving place to the flesh. Neither give place to the devil. All right, now, so now, because this is the verse that I've got today going in my spirit, the Lord will never allow me to be tempted above which I'm able. I don't forget about the rest of the verses I'm learning, but my priority is on what? This and today. All right, now, number 6. Because I resist the devil, he has to flee from me. All right, now, I'm just going to use one because some of y'all heard it Wednesday night. James 4:7. Submit yourself, therefore, to God. Resist the devil and he'll flee from you. Now, let me ask you a question today. All right, now, I'm going to win today. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And also, no temptation is taken to me that I'm not able to bear, and I'm going to resist that devil and he has to flee. But I don't know. I tried to resist the devil all day, and somehow I really tried hard to resist the devil today, but really I don't think he fled. I don't think he did. Now what do? Battle verse. Back to casting down that imagination. Now, one of the battle verses you're going to have. You know, now this is already all these days. You know, this is the 6th day, and as far as I know, I ain't got any of this stuff in my spirit. Wait a little. What are we going to do now? This stuff ain't working. Remember, you're yielding to temptation right now. This stuff's not working. You're going to have to, listen folks, you are what you think about. If you think you're defeated, you are. If you think you're a conqueror, you are. If you think you can stop sinning, you can. If you think you can't, if you blame somebody else, you can't do it. If you say, well, it's in my family line, the baloney with it. You are making provision for the flesh, and not that only, you've got to get a hold of that mind of yours and bring those imaginations and thoughts and reasoning down. You can't reason this stuff out. You can't reason this out. You think all day long about the tire on your car is getting low. And you start pondering on that and think, you know, that thing will probably blow out at the most inconvenient place, probably right at a traffic light. Or when I'm going 65 miles an hour down the road, it'll probably blow out and throw me in the ditch. You start pondering that stuff, and after a while, your mind has already prepared itself, and the devil will take a hold of it. You cast down those imaginations, and every high thing exalts itself against the knowledge of God and bring it into captivity to the obedience of God. What do you mean by obedience? God said, I must obey Him. God said, resist the devil and he'll flee from me. It doesn't matter whether I feel like it or not. We're the biggest devil we've ever had to deal with. Really? It's not the devil, it's us. We sit around and think about all this stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you, I can tell you this in advance. The devil's not going to like for you to get this formula. Well, are we going to meditate upon that? Are we going to ponder on that? Well, no. Jesus wants you to get it. And the Lord will help you get it. And the Lord will see to it you get it. But you're going to have to make a quality decision. All right, now, day 7. The Lord has given His angels charge over me to keep me in all my way. Psalms 91:11, for He shall give His angels charge over thee. What does that mean? He's going to order His angels. All right, you take care of those people. You take care of them. We talked about that Wednesday night. You take care of this person. It's individual. Now, He's given His change over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. Not just one, ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Now, I want, if you give Yummy your child, I want you and Eric to come up here. And I want y'all to get ready to help me here on this thing. I'm going to show you how this works. Where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst. All right, now, after the 7 days are ended, now when I've come to the end of the 7 days, now I take all 7 verses. Now my priority is on all 7 of them. I'm no longer dealing with 1 per day. I'm dealing with 7 today. 7. That's a normal figure, 7. All right, now I'm going to take all 7 of them, and now I get up in the morning. Now I want you to just think with me for just a little bit. I get up in the morning, and I say, today the Lord will never leave me or forsake me. My steps are ordered by the Lord today. And whatever happens to me, all things will work together for my good today. And no weapon that's formed against me today shall prosper. You can see I got this in my spirit. And I will never be tempted today above which I'm able to bear. I just know no matter how hard the temptation, God's got an escape route for me. Lord, I need the escape route. I'm being tested here. Where's my escape route? He'll say, get away from there. Stop looking at that junk. Set no evil thing before you. Can you imagine me sitting in front of a television and saying, boy, I'm going to watch a soap opera. Lord, don't let me be tempted above which I'm able. I'll turn on my computer and I'll just get a fainting glimpse of some pornography. Lord, don't let me be tempted. Come on. No, that's escape route. Escape from that lousy thing. Escape from it. Run away from it. Sin ought to look like an abomination to you. It ought to make you vexed. If it doesn't, you aren't repented. Because sin's an abomination. Well, I'm not interested at all in this stuff. And then, hey, I'm telling you something. If the devil comes up after me today, I tell him, flee! Yeah, flee. But you don't understand. I have been so defeated. And I just am the weakest Christian, casting down imaginations. All day long, I got 7 verses that I'm confessing. The Lord has given His angels charge over me. All right, how long would that take me to do that in a day's time? Just get these things, write them up, put them in your pocket. If you forget which one you're on, pull them out. If you can't think of the 7th one or the 6th one or the 5th one, pull them out. Get so used to it, you know exactly. Now today, I'm going down through here and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. All right, brethren, help me. I don't know what to do. I just do not know what to do. Wait a little. I'm just getting started good and I've already got a Bible verse. But somebody told me that somebody that had the sickness you had died with it. All right, now, you know what? I owe a bill, but I don't think I'm going to pay that bill. I'm not going to pay it.
There's temptation that you can't bear.
There's another one too.
Resist the devil, he's a flee.
Resist the devil and he'll flee from you. All right. I think I'm going to lie a little bit.
Never be tempted above that which I can bear. My steps are ordered by the Lord.
All right. I think if there's nobody looking, I think I'm going to go in here and get a beer.
That's the I'll never be tempted above that which I can bear, and because I resist the devil, he'll flee from me.
All right. I don't think today I'm going to go to church because really the lawn needs to be mowed, and I ought to work on my car, and furthermore, I'm tired of church anyway. All the preacher will do is discourage me.
Steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord.
Steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And not only that, but we got some more there on that.
I will never leave you forsaken.
The Lord is with me. Does He want me to do that? My steps are ordered by the Lord. Is He ordering me to mow the lawn instead of going to church? See, folks, when you get into those problems now, we're going to do this for 28 days. 28 days, those verses will be squinting through you, and after a while, it's just automatic. I mean, the moment you run into a problem, the moment you hit a problem, every area of your life is covered. I'm going to fight with my wife today, huh? What am I going to do if I feel like I'm fighting with my wife? Now, y'all are getting slack now. Nobody can figure anything out now.
I would never be tempted above
my steps are ordered by the Lord as He ordered me. Right. And are the angels that's given charge over me. I'll probably have a head-on collision.
He'll give His angels charge over me.
He give His angels charge over thee. I feel like pulling a gun and shooting myself.
No weapon formed against thee shall prosper.
What I'm doing as far as to show you that no matter what temptation, trial, test you get into, somebody just got done talking about me. I mean, they said some horrible things. In fact, just this week, somebody was telling me how bad somebody said I was. Well, praise God. I tell you, what do you do now when that happens?
No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Every tongue that rises against me in judgment.
All right, what do I do with the tongue?
Condemn it.
Condemn that tongue. All right, now you say, boy, I'll tell you one thing, I don't think my boss is paying me enough. That makes me so mad. I'm telling you, everybody else getting raised, not me. And I'll just tell you one thing, I'd just like to give the boss a piece of my mind. All right, what else?
All things work together for good.
Is that right?
Good. Yep. And
my steps are ordered by
and my steps are ordered by the Lord.
I tell you the one I was thinking about. He will never leave me or forsake me. He's with me. Does He want me to talk like that? I'm in His presence. Would I act like this if the Lord's in my presence? I mean, the Lord's going to be in my home today. And I'll tell you, I just got to just take that child, and now, wait a little. You'll never discipline a child that way. So, you use these Bible verses, and after a while, folks, they become so much a part of you that it's actually a thrill. The Lord told me, He said, you've been doing this. You didn't even know you were doing it. You have that formula worked out. But He said, instead of you quoting Isaiah 54:17, like the way you do day by day, if you would emphasize that all day long and get it into your spirit, and then what we do at the end of the 7 days, we have taken one Bible verse a day as they came in order to the 7th day. Day 1, we emphasized, He'll never leave me or forsake me. Day 2, we emphasized, my steps are ordered by the Lord. Day 3, we emphasized that all things will go work together for good. Day 4, we emphasized that no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue will come down. And day 5, that we've never be tempted above that which you're able to bear. Day 6, I resist the devil, he'll flee from me. And day 7, He has given His angels charge over me to keep me in all my ways. Now, I've got that thing going through me. And now, as I begin the next week, I take all these in one package deal and begin with them. And I tell you, you start getting them things in you. Every morning you get up, instead of getting up and saying, oh, another drag along, sag along day. Yesterday was terrible. Today will probably be worse. Nothing good ever happens to me. Interest rates will probably go up just as soon as I buy this home. And you see, all that stuff is casting down those imaginations. You've got to bring them down. You've got to put a stop to that kind of stuff. Because today, every moment today, the moment I have a problem, I have the formula operating in me to the extent that day after day. Can you imagine doing this for 3 weeks every day? What do you think would happen? You get up in the morning and say, hey, priority, this is the first thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to read them things until I know them all by heart. And you read them, carry them in your pocket. If you got a problem, carry them in your pocket. After the 28 days, keep them in your pocket in case you run into problems. You're a victor. You're a victor. You're a victor. Start saying, I'm a victor. I'm a victor. I'm a victor. I can do it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do it. I can go. His steps my steps are being led by the Lord. And I'm telling you, folks, this thing getting into you, over and over and over and over and over until they just snap into your spirit right away. Anything that happens, they just snap right into you. Immediately they snap into you. Just people was already saying today, this thing is something exciting. This is exciting. People, Kevin was teaching this at the prison or the jail, one or two, or both, and this one fella began to weep. What do you say, Kevin?
He said, this is exactly what I needed. He said, I'm sorry about the tears. He said, this is exactly what I needed.
So you see, once you get that in your spirit, it doesn't matter if your husband comes in like a tornado. It doesn't. You're at peace with God. It's gonna work. And I'll tell you, folks, this thing, once you get that formula going into you day after day after day after day after day, at the end of the 28-day period, you probably won't want to stop. But the Lord said to me after that, it takes about 30 days to get this across, but you already got 7 to start the whole thing with. And so once at the end of 28 days, you're ready for action. And anything that happens to you, you'll take a new look at it. I know you will. You think I had already ran into some tests and found out this thing works. We were coming home from Pennsylvania after the Lord gave me this. If it's anything I hate, is come up on a superhighway and see a string of cars about 5 miles long on my side of the road. That's what happened. I think that's the longest string of cars I think I ever seen. Anywhere you go, you look way down there, you can see them, and we going, 1 mile an hour, stop, 1 mile an hour, stop, 1 mile an hour. You don't get too far 1 mile an hour. And I thought, all things are going to work together for good. Yeah! Get behind me. I'll tell you to flee. The cars got out of the way and I made it home. I could have done like one lady did. She got mad, went across the medium strip, went zipping down the back road. She came across that thing. She could have got in trouble, but she went out across the grass strip and headed back. And, the people get in a rage. People pull off the side of the road to look. People are mad. You can stay calm. Because, now let me show you. I really want to get worked up, but I remember the Lord is in this seat with me. And I remember He's given His angel charge over me. That angel's not going to like it if I... And this weapon that's formed against me will not prosper. It's formed against a whole bunch of others too. And I know all things go to work together for good, so I better not run into the guy in front of me. All things are going to work together for good, so I'm not going to cross on a solid line. All things are going to work together for good, so I'm not going to break the speed limit. Because them blue lights ain't always good news. So what happens? All things are working together for good. You know, folks, anytime you got a problem, you come back to that thing and you insist that, no, I'm not going to take, I'm just not going to take no for an answer. This thing will work. It'll work for me. Whether I'm looking for a house, whether I'm looking for a job, whether I'm looking for a wife, or whether I'm looking to get rid of one. Huh? It'll work if you feel like getting rid of your wife. What does it do? You see what it does? When you start saying, well, my wife just is not what I want, get in this formula. You'll find something to come out. The Lord will help you. If you say, let me show you what to do, if you really think this thing is not working, you go back and you cast down that imagination and say, no, sir, I will not entertain that thought. That's all there is to it. I won't. And furthermore, somebody says to me it's not working, I'm not going to pay attention to that. It's working for me. You see, people say that their words don't work for them. They already did. They're working right now. That's what's wrong. You know, I could come up here and say, you know, I'm going to give you an illustration. What I mean. A dear, wonderful preacher friend of mine, he's a coffee drinker. I don't mean he drinks coffee. I mean he's flooded with coffee. I have no idea how much coffee the man drinks. I just know that he's got to have his coffee. One day he said to me, he said, Brother Rhodes, he said, I've got to go to the doctor today and I'm scared because I got to go up to a big specialist up the country. And he said, would you go along for a moral support to me? And I said, yeah, sure. So I did. I went with him. While we started down the road, he was pouring his coffee. He said, would you pour me a cup of coffee? And after about 5 so minutes, he said, would you pour me another cup of coffee? He said, the doctor told me that I need to drink coffee. You know, we get up there to the doctor's office, and the doctor said, are you still drinking a lot of coffee? And he said, well, a good bit, yes. He said, I told you the last time you was in here, that coffee's going to kill you. Now, he had just told me on the way up, the doctor assigned him to drink coffee. You know what the difference was? The doctor assigned him to drink coffee. Let's suppose the doctor did assign him to drink coffee. The difference is the doctor didn't tell him to drink until he's bloated. That same thing was use a little wine for your stomach's sake. What do you mean by a little wine? Maybe a teaspoonful? Don't go with that. You know, you become an alcoholic. So, folks, you cannot justify yourself in anything. If it's destructive to you, I'm going to give you another illustration. I heard the man say this out of his own mouth, the preacher. This is not, I'm sure he don't care if I tell this. But he was taking medication. Legal medication. He was on a doctor's prescription medication. And he was having so much problem with his health and pain. And one day the Lord spoke to him and said, this is what the man said. The Lord said, you take one more pill and that'll be it. If you take one more pill, that'll fix it. That'll be it. And he said, what do you mean by that? Lord said, you better not take one more pill. You're addicted to that drug, and you're going to face the consequences if you take another. This is it. I'm not fooling with you no more. And he said, well, I didn't know I was a drug addict. I'm not a drug addict. He said, yes, you are. He said, you're addicted to it. You take it one more time, and I'll deal with you. He said, I don't know what he was going to do, but I wasn't going to find out. He said, I'm going to tell you what. He said, I can assure you that that was the last time that I took it. He said, I took that medication and I destroyed it, and the instant I did, I was healed instantly. He said, what I first started thinking about, and here's where your catch is at. The first thing I started thinking about was, what am I going to do if I have a problem? See, that's where you cast down those imaginations. He said, if the Lord speaks to you about giving something up, you better do it. I mean, don't you wait. And you say, well, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. It's not always going to work like that. You may still have the symptoms. When I came off of medication, I took the medication and dumped part of it out. The Lord didn't tell me to quit it right off of a sudden. The doctor told me, if you quit this medication, instantly it'll kill you. So what I did was take the capsules that I had and dumped a little bit out. The next time I dumped out a little more. The next time I dumped out a little more. And the pills that I took, I chiseled them off a little bit with a knife and took them until I only had just a little tab left, and I quit. And no side effects at all. And I haven't taken any that kind of stuff for many, many years. And I had heart medication that they told me I'd take all the time. This kind of formula will help you out of a lot of problems. And I'm not saying don't take medication. I'm not telling you not to take medication. I'm not saying that. If the Lord didn't tell you, I'm not telling you to stop taking medication. If the Lord tells you, that's between you and the Lord, not me. But I'm telling you, if you put this as your priority, this is above anything else in your life, you're going to have victory. I know you will. I'm trying to answer some of y'all's questions. What do you do if after the 28 days you feel like that you just didn't get it? What do you do? Well, I think that you've got a problem if you don't get this after 28 days. But start over again if you want to. Keep on doing it. Or hold on to the 7. Just keep on going. Don't stop. Don't even consider stopping. Now, what do you do if today I forgot it? All right? If you forgot it, what has just happened? You didn't make a quality decision, or you would have never forgot it. Did you forget to eat today? You know, I completely forgot to eat today and never even once thought about eating. Wouldn't that be something? You make a quality decision. You know, I have not forgotten I got married one day. I didn't forget about it. I made a decision. When I answered those questions, I remember that I made those questions. Answered them. Folks, once you get this thing in your spirit, don't give yourself an excuse. Stop making excuses. Don't say. And another thing, husband and wives, don't remind each other that they're not doing a good job at it. This is for you, not for your others. I'd like to see y'all give a testimony sometime down these lines and say how this thing's working for you. I know it works. The Lord said to me, that's why you got the victory. This is the formula you've been using. And you weren't aware of it. And I said, well, I didn't even think about it. I didn't think about it, I was using it. Till he reminded me, he said, you had that thing worked out already. Now, he said, if the people who want to go on into maturity will begin to use some other formulas, which I'm going to give you later, it'll help you to have the victories over every area of your life at any moment, any time, anything happens. He said you could go through the worst persecution. You can go through the worst situation. If you follow the 7 formulas, there is not anything on earth that you can't come through with victory. Nothing. It just isn't. You could face any situation that's on earth, and you could come through with joy. And he said, Paul said, I'm exceeding joyful in all of my financial gain. Is that what he said? What? In all my tribulation, in all my adversities, I'm rejoicing and exceeding. Why? He's doing the same thing that I'm telling you to do.